midst of God's children, the Lord said he would be. It doesn't take very many. It can be just 2 or 3, and I feel the same sweet spirit that I've felt of times before. Surely I can say that I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Well, good morning to you all. It's really strange. We're here on Friday morning recording for you, and you'll hear this on Sunday morning. I say that to you because it had a hand in the selection of today's daily word to read here. So I'm going to start off with the daily word before we open in prayer. We had to remind ourselves as we were dialing it up, it being Friday, that we need to be looking for the one for Sunday. And it was just moments later when we turned the page and found out that the daily word for Sunday, July 12, 2020, is guidance. And we all acknowledge that in the moment that we found that the word was guidance, we were truly being guided into our presence. And that is the affirmation for the daily word today. I am divinely guided. I encourage you to say that to yourself. I am divinely guided. Guidance can be easy to find in the outer world. Maps and GPS technology can help me navigate my way just about anywhere. Everywhere I go, there are signs marking streets, adorning storefronts, and providing just about every kind of information and opinion imaginable. Spiritual guidance often is not as evident, but it is much more valuable. This guidance can come to me as a persistent tug on my attention, as a gut feeling or intuition, or even in a dream as I sleep. I pay attention to the guidance I receive, and I step out in faith to move my steps in its direction. I know that the spirit of wisdom and love within me are always guiding me to blessings of greater peace, love, and prosperity. And the reading for today's daily word comes from Psalm 25, verse 4. Make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Once again, the daily word for Sunday, July 12, 2020, is guidance. And so with that, let us open in prayer. I invite you, wherever you're listening to this from, if you're able to just settle into your own space, and if it's safe for you to do so and you feel comfortable, I encourage you to gently close your eyes. Just allow your conscious attention to become aware that you are right in the midst of God's power and God's presence wherever you are right now. There is no place that you can be, there is no place that I can be where God is not already present. It's not that God is portable. God is everywhere. God is all. that is with us wherever we are in whatever circumstance. And so today we allow our consciousness to attune as an open channel to receive the truth of Spirit, to allow the messages in that land right perfectly for me, right where I am on my path today. And let me be attentive and responsive to that, and taking action on the truth and the principles that I affirm in my life. We thank you, living, loving Spirit, for the principles, for the laws, for the creation, for creating us in love as love. And we will do our best to animate and express that love as we move forward from here. So we say thank you, thank you, thank you. We pray in the name and the nature of Jesus the Christ, and so it is, and so we allow it to be. Amen. Now I guess we should do a song to let me kind of wing this a little bit. So I want to open with a song here for you to kind of set the table for us. This will be a little bit of a different kind of song than we would normally do in this slot. But this song, for me, was the result of a lot of work that I did with A Course in Miracles in the early days, back in the late 90s and so forth, whenever I began to start writing songs once again. And this song came as a direct result of guidance showing up in the form of inspiration, and me being willing to sit down in that moment and partner up with that guidance. And quite frankly, after I wrote the song, it kind of scared me. I'll tell you straight up, it kind of scared me, because it was a very different voice coming through in the expression there. And I kind of felt very vulnerable singing this song in front of people, like it was revealing some deep, deep truth that I wasn't yet ready to claim for myself. And it kind of sat on the shelf, and friends would hear it, and then they would request it, and it just kind of always hung around, but it never wound up on one of my records. And I hope to rectify that situation here in the next year or so. In any case, this song is a song called Holy. There's a fire in the midnight that burns my separation, with a flame in black and white to light my investigation. If it's so mysterious, how will I ever understand? All this experience is slipping through my hands. I think it's time to set things right. Look at all the pieces burning in the night. I think it's time to let my soul leave. So I'm looking for the pieces that make me holy. Make me holy. We never fell from Eden, that's just something we believe. Through the centuries, conceding for our sins, we had to leave. But we never left the garden, consigned to travel east, to toil away and burden for the things that matter least. I think it's time to set things right. Look at all the pieces, innocent in the light. I think it's time to let my soul leave. So I'm looking for the pieces that make me holy, that make me holy. All of my judgments, all of my fears, all of my sorrows, and all of my tears are only the pieces that remain of Eden's stain, showing me how to dream the dream of a forgiving world. I think this time I've said things right. Look at all the pieces, innocent in the light. I think this time I've let my soul lead. So I'm letting go of the pieces, so I can hold on to the peace that makes me holy, that make me holy. Yeah, you make me holy. Yeah, you make me holy. So let's take that energy into today's talk. And just this morning I've been listening throughout the week to Ernest Holmes' Science of the Mind on Audible as I do my morning walk. So I've got Ernest Holmes in my ears for about 45 minutes to an hour a day, having someone read those words and those teachings in there. And then a couple of days ago I was like, I'm a big fan of A Course in Miracles, and I'm old school. I got my books, I got them highlighted and yellowed and paper clipped and all kinds of stuff. And for the first time I was like, I wonder if they have an Audible version of A Course in Miracles. So I went, and sure enough they did, so I downloaded it right away. And so after I got through listening to Ernest Holmes for about an hour on my walk this morning, I started listening to A Course in Miracles again on the way here. And I started with the introduction and the principles of miracles, which is stated up front. There's 50 of them. We're not going to get into all those today. But then when I got back in the car, I put it back on and I listened to that introduction again about how A Course in Miracles came to be. And as I was driving here, I had a kind of another talk and plan, but as I was driving here, I was realizing the influence of A Course in Miracles, not only on my thinking and my healing and giving me a language that I could agree with and move into a spiritual path for my life. And I'm absolutely grateful for that, and I advocate for A Course in Miracles all the time. I still read it from time to time, but now it's interesting that I have it on Audible, having it read to me, and I'll probably wind up going through it over the next month in its entirety. And that was very profound for me, going through A Course in Miracles and how it changed. It made profound shifts in the way that I perceive the world. It made profound shifts in helping me to see the true nature and the true function of forgiveness in my life, and how it's a useful, very valuable tool for me to have as I'm moving through my experience down the path of life and so forth, and developing and trying to grow my consciousness, to grow my capacity for love and so forth. And it's a very useful tool to have at the ready. And in terms of thinking about guidance, that song "Holy" that I played for you all just a moment ago, that's not a song that I play very often, certainly in church settings. It comes up once in a while in specific contexts and everything, but it's certainly not a song that I lead with. Like, hey, listen to this. But it was really one of those moments where I really felt divinely guided in that. I realized that in the writing of that song, the actual creation of that song, it was a palpable experience for me that I was not alone in this process. That there was a creative energy that was enveloping me at that point in time, and I happened to be willing to, be cooperative that day. Put it that way. Like, okay, yes, I'll pick up the guitar and we'll sit down and work this out. So at some level, I was in conscious agreement to cooperate with the energy, but I was really aware that I wasn't alone, that there was a guidance, that there was some creative expression, spirit, truth, energy, call it whatever you will, moving through me that was requiring expression. For me, it was very profound because it healed me at very deep levels to have those words like in the moment. I just, for the first couple of weeks, I couldn't hardly play it without crying. It was hitting me so deep in my soul. Maybe that's why it scared me to play it in front of people, because I thought I'd start crying in the middle of playing it and wouldn't be able to finish it. But finally, ultimately, I kind of had to get over that. But that the song has been persistent in that it was one of the early songs that I wrote when I started writing seriously. And yet it never wound up on any one of my 3 albums. It wasn't even in like the short list. It was like there was always this group of songs. We gather these group of songs and go, yes, no, yes, 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 no, 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 no. And Holy was never even on that list, which in terms of my own journey, I find curious. Well, why are you still not expressing that fully? So I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of shifted my intention today and kind of led with that before the talk, because there is a divine guidance. I mean, unity principle number 1, we teach and we express to ourselves, we affirm in our own lives and practice that principle that there's only one power and one presence active in the universe and in my life. It doesn't say there's another power vying for control with that one power. There's only one power and one presence active in the universe and in my life. And if I get into quiet thought, it's there anyway, whether I'm paying attention to it or not. I can try to ignore it. I can try and, numb it with drugs or food or any other kind of thing that can become habit forming and no good for our long-term health and so forth, and try and blot out that memory, but I can never actually be outside of the power and the presence. No matter what I'm doing, it's always there. That's comforting to me because it helps me to see the world in a creative way, that we are in the midst of a creative cosmos, an ongoing creative cosmos. We really can't even wrap our minds around time as it goes, in the larger sense of the thing. We can't calculate millions of years or billions of years, not in a real tangible way. It's just this formless number. It's big, it's long, it's long. We can't wrap our minds around it. But we are in the midst of that same creative process that was going on a million years ago as it is going on today. The people that are, every one of us on the planet is running around we're co-creating this experience. Whatever's going on in the world, we're co-creating it together. I have a very good friend, songwriting friend. She comes to our Austin Songwriters group. And she's an older woman, but she's very earnest in her songwriting. She's very consistent. She's always writing new stuff. She gets her stuff demoed and stuff like that. She brings her songs for us to listen to and give her feedback on. Well, about a week and a half or so ago, she started bringing in this song that was, in her own way, trying to articulate a response to the events that got triggered in the wake of George Floyd's, death. And so the first time she brought it in, she's kind of, it feels very kind of canned and cliched the way that she was going at it, and she got some feedback. And at one point in time, I asked her, I said, let me just ask you this. What is your intention for writing a song like this? And she said, well, I kind of want to, just get it out there because I don't want to be involved in all that stuff. And I was like, well, honey, you are involved. We're all involved. We are all co-creating this experience together, right? Now, we can respond in the language of A Course in Miracles. We can either respond in love to that call for love, that cry for love, whatever's going on in the world that feels like it's out of whack, it's a cry for love, and I can respond to that with my love, or I can react to it in my fear. Those are my choices, and I'm choosing that same thing all day long in many, many forms over and over and over. We're choosing between love and fear all day long. If we accept that premise as being true, that we can organize our life around that and start looking at the world and just simply like, am I choosing love in this moment, or am I choosing fear? That's a real simple thing to look at all of our choices and go, how am I feeling right now? Well, I'm feeling a little afraid. I'm feeling a little insecure right now. And so this choice I'm making, or this emotion that I'm feeling, might be being triggered by my fear. And if I'm willing to name my fear, if I'm willing to bring it out in the light of day and go, hey, well, really, am I afraid of that? Am I really afraid of that? Well, maybe you might be. But the good news is that you have the power of love right there as the alternate choice, and you can choose again. And you can bring in, as Charles would say, the harmonizing power of love into that situation that can then dissolve that fear, whatever it may be. And we have to do this multiple times a day, ongoing. It's a, it's a, what do they say, wash, dry, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. It's that kind of thing. It's an ongoing thing. It's the equivalent of chopping wood and carrying water. That's the way life really is. If we're engaged in the flow of life, then it's an ongoing process. And metaphorically speaking, metaphysically speaking, we are chopping wood and carrying water throughout the course of our life. That's what we're doing. It's that activity, that work. And that's the way it is. That's the way it's been for a long, long time. That's the way it is. And there's really not anything fundamentally wrong with that process. It's there to facilitate our growth and our transformation, ultimately. Actually, the whole statement is, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. That's the full statement. So it's like we're, if we're waiting on revelation, if we're waiting on guidance, if we're waiting on epiphany to help us with a problem that we're trying to solve, or a creative manifestation we're attempting to express, if we're waiting for that, then we're waiting on guidance, so to speak. We're waiting for inspiration to strike. And yet, the inspiration is always there. Our job is not to call upon it and then wait on it. Our job is to prepare ourselves in consciousness to be receivers of that. Because the truth is, even as I speak right now here in this room with just a few people, and I'm missing all of y'all's faces, and I look forward to the day that we're able to be back together and see everybody in person. I really do. But as we're moving through this experience, together, we have to acknowledge that we are all a part of it in one way or the other. Even if we're not directly involved with some of the circumstances and events and news items that we hear about, we are in consciousness connected to that energy. And therefore, we have a responsibility, each one of us, no matter what you believe and where we are on the spectrum, we each still have a responsibility to be aware of whether we're choosing from love or whether we're choosing from fear in our actions in response or reaction to those events. And our work, practically speaking, unity principle number 5 is the action principle, right? And, I paraphrase it by saying, look, the first 4 principles are meaningless. They have no power and effect in your life. They're just coffee talk, unless you're willing to live them and express them and align your choices and your activities around those principles. That's where the power and that's where the efficacy comes from. Course in Miracles says the same thing about A Course in Miracles, that we're not asked to agree or judge or anything that the Course says. We're simply asked to do what it asks you to do, and that in the doing, your own experience will prove the truth and the power of the principles. You have to be willing to live them. You have to put your willingness on the table. It's something that's, once again, it's an ongoing process. Every day, you have to make a conscious decision that you're going to put your what the Course in Miracles would say is your little willingness on the table. I'm willing to do my best, as Don Miguel Ruiz would say in the 4 Agreements. Always do your best. Your best is a variable from moment to moment, week to week, year to year. It's variable. But if we're willing to do our best in whatever circumstances might be impinging upon us, or setting us free as well. I mean, there's such a thing as a liberty, and sometimes we've got all the time and all the resources to create whatever we want to do, and we're still stuck, right? But we're always in the presence of the divine guidance. We're always in the presence of the divine guidance. And that's the word of the day. That's the truth of the day. And That's where we should align our thoughts in our hearts and our minds and our souls, is that we are in the power and the presence, and that we're created in the image and likeness of that Creator. And being created in that image and likeness, we have a responsibility, because we are effectively co-creators of this experience, each one of us in our own way. One of the variables between is whether or not we're consciously creating into that collective experience, or unconsciously creating. Becoming conscious of your creation and your co-creation, there's much more creative power, much more spiritual power in our choices whenever we align ourselves in cooperation consciously. I'm in alignment with this. I'm going to do my best in all circumstances to choose from love. I recognize that I may stub my toe from time to time and fail in that. I may react in my fear. But when I do, I am willing to recalibrate myself and choose to love the next time and get back to conscious choice. And we have to do that on an ongoing basis. And that is the spiritual path. That is the work. And it is ongoing throughout our lives. But we reach greater and greater levels of transformation and access to creative power as we go. We get bigger as we go, so to speak. But you got to be willing to begin right where you are. I have to be willing to begin right where I am. And that includes even today, 20-something years down the line from when I first learned that. I've been doing my best to do that over this time, but I'm still having to make that conscious decision. By now, it's, in some respects, a habit, so maybe I'm not consciously making it all the time. It's just a habit that I've done. But believe me, there are times when you have to remind yourself, you know what, I don't want to work today. Well, tough, suit up. It's time to suit up, and at some point in time, you can resist that during the course of your day, or you can get into agreement with it. So for me, that's what the guidance is about, is I literally feel like that I'm making agreement with this other power as my partner in this, and that we're co-creating this experience. And then I'm aligning my thoughts, my intentions, my heart, my emotions, my energy with the energy and power of love, the harmonizing power of love, as Charles would say. So then we can go about the business of creating harmony in the world. And that's what the world needs now, is love, sweet love. It's true. What the world needs now, love will harmonize all of that, will bring all of that into it. And each one of us have a role in playing that, because we are each one co-creators of that experience. And so with that, I'd like to change our energy up just a little bit. I'm going to take a sip of water here and then get ourselves prepared for a little time in the silence and meditation. I'm going to play a Daniel Nabon song for you guys to get you in that frame of mind for a few moments in the silence, and then we'll close this out on the other side of that. So let me get a drink of water, and I just encourage you to maybe settle in a little bit where you are right now. Just a second here. I want to tweak this just a little bit. As we always say, we tune because we care. We care about your listening experience on your end, and it kind of always goes better when it's in tune. That capo sharpens things up just a touch. All right. I just invite you to settle in here. Just prepare ourselves for some time in the silence. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Let's just take that a little deeper into the silence. Precious holy moments, connecting with our own indwelling Christ presence. The same one teacher that has been available to all of the great teachers is our inner teacher, our touchstone for guidance. And all we need to do is turn our attention and train our intention on connecting with the indwelling Christ presence right here, right now, in the silence. And as you begin to gently draw your attention back into the space where you are right now, when you're listening to this, and just know that wherever you are, God is, and all is well. All the power, all the presence, all the knowledge, wisdom, and truth is available to us, and we have a direct connection for guidance, divine guidance, creative inspiration, solutions to challenges in our lives, abundance where we might perceive lack, that all of these and more, health and vitality and quality relationships in our lives and the expression of love. Everywhere we look, everywhere we go, we see only love in the world. And that inheritance is ours. That bounty is ours. God promises it. And it's right there in the midst of our presence. And we open our eyes to the miracle of the creative abundance of divine energy, divine love, divine guidance, divine creative ideas. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you, living, loving Spirit. And we pray in the name and the nature of Jesus the Christ, and so it is. And so we allow it to be. Amen. Well, we want to thank you for joining us here. We're going to take up a collection right now and remind us all of our connection to our spiritual homes and the place that spiritually feeds us and grounds us and connects us to the family that we were born into, the spiritual family that we're born into. And we love this community, and so we generously give to this community to sustain its work, to sustain its energy, and to reach out from where we're planted right now and to spread the message of love wherever we go. We each have a responsibility. We're an emissary. We're an ambassador of love wherever we go. And part of that is expressing our gratitude. And one of the ways that we express our gratitude is by giving of our good, giving of our bounty, giving of our prosperity. And so as we prepare our gifts in consciousness, you might be giving at another time. You might be mailing in a check or giving electronically, but just hold your gift in mind right now and see that gift. See you giving that gift and being received by your spiritual community. And then see it circulating throughout your spiritual community as it makes its way out into the outer world. And everywhere it goes, your gift brings good and prosperity and creative inspiration to everyone whose lives are touched by that as it flows back into circulation. And we know that we cannot outgive God, and so we give generously, knowing that our good is coming back to us 10 times and more, pressed down and overflowing, and we ready ourselves in consciousness to receive this divine bounty. So we have our prosperity blessing that we say together. I think we say it a little differently at different churches and everything, so if I stumble and do it differently than what you're accustomed to doing it, you do it your way, but the intention is still the same. So let's say it together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. And I am grateful. For God's abundance is good and supply is everywhere, and I am grateful. And so it is, and so we let it be. And we see those gifts moving through this community, doing their good. I'd like to close real quickly, play y'all one more song, and then send you guys into your Sunday. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day wherever you are. And let me find the one I was intending to play here for you guys, right here. This is a song written by a good friend of mine named Steve Califf, and it's kind of making its way around, kind of finding its way to different kinds of people's attention as it's moving through, and it's kind of building a little bit, kind of taking on life of its own. So we want to breathe a little inspiration. We want to breathe a little bit of the guidance into guiding us as this song makes its way out into the world. We're getting ready to release it as a single here, and I'll keep y'all posted on that. It's called Connected. You might not like the way I look. You put a label on me and you throw away the book. You might think your way's the way. You know all the answers, there's nothing left to say. What will it take before we see we're all connected? We're all one, we're all connected. One earth, one moon, one sun, we're all connected. Can you put down your gun? Can't you see we are one? Can there be peace without war? Is it impossible? 'Cause it's never been done before. Can there be love without hate? The clock is ticking, and I hope it's not too late. What will it take before we see we're all connected? We're all one, we're all connected. One earth, one moon, one sun, we're all connected. Can you put down your gun? Can't you see we are one? Can you go beyond ideology, politics, religion, and philosophy? Can you go beyond culture, socialization, indoctrination? Can you go beyond the beyond, where we're all connected? We're all one, we're all connected. Can you put down your gun? Can't you see we are one? We're all connected. We're all one, we're all connected. We're all one, we're all connected. We're all one, we're all connected. Thank y'all very much for joining us today. We hope you have a blessed Sunday and a blessed rest of next week. And I really, really look forward to seeing you guys in person again very, very soon. You take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Peace.